What's going on, guys? We're gonna just get right into this. We're gonna talk about the Cloward versus Piven strategy. A lot of people have asked me to speak on behalf of what that is. There's some interesting information that we've gotten recently about our southern regions south of the United States that have been participating in aiding in these people coming to the United States. They've been pushing and pushing and pushing and allowing it to happen and barely, they're not stopping them at all. A lot of people bring up this Cloward Piven strategy and they want somebody to actually cover it from the statistics of how it was actually written, the history of how it was written. So the Cloward Piven strategy is a political strategy outlined in 1966 by American sociologists and political activists Richard Cloward and Francis Fox Piven. It is the strategy of forcing political change, leading to societal collapse through orchestrated crisis. The Cloward Piven strategy seeks to hasten the fall of capitalism by overloading the government bureaucracy with the flood of impossible demands, amassing massive unpayable national debt, and other messages such as unfettered immigration, thus pushing society into a crisis and economic collapse by overwhelming the system. That's what the Cloward Piven strategy is. So when you take into consideration what's going on in the United States and how they're doing exactly that right now, it's exactly what they're doing. And then you take into information that's being fed to us from people south of the United States on their countries are actually aiding in helping this happen because they're hoping to further this agenda and push this to expedite this process so that way some people would talk about the democracy that we should have, we don't have. It would turn into more of a socialist type dictatorship, when really this is a republic. It's not a democracy. A lot of people see that incorrectly. So when I look up a republic is a state or nation where the citizens have supreme power and elected representatives exercise that power. And that's not what we're getting. We're getting people that we're voting for, that we're putting in place, and then they're completely just ignoring us, not listening to what we want or what we have to say, and they're just making those choices for us. That goes from our president all the way down to the aldermen of our towns. They're just completely neglecting and saying that they don't want to listen to what the citizens want. And just recently, what happened when they did the city hall, they wanted to vote to keep this a sanctuary state or not. 31 of the 50 aldermen voted no. They don't want the citizens to vote because they know what would happen. And they turned it down and said, we're not interested in listening to what the citizens have to say. No, we don't want to hear their vote. It's going to stay the way it is, and there's nothing that they can do about it. And they walked out of there. That was it. Mayor Johnson said, okay, no vote then. When a lot of these people came forward and said, that's not what we wanted. And you're saying that you don't want to hear what we have to say, and we're the ones that elected you. We're the ones that put you in place. Anyway. Strategy. Cloward and Piven's article is focused on forcing the Democratic Party, which in 1966 controlled the presidency and both houses of the United States Congress, to take federal action to help the poor. They stated that the full enrollment of these eligible for welfare would produce bureaucratic disruption in the welfare agencies and physical disruption in local and state governments that would deepen existing divisions among elements in the big city Democratic coalition. The remaining white middle class, the working class ethnic groups, and the growing minority. To avoid a further weakening of that historic coalition, a national democratic administration would be constrained to advance a federal solution to poverty that would override local welfare failures, local class and racial conflicts, and local revenue dilemmas. They further wrote, the ultimate objective of the strategies is to wipe out poverty by establishing a guaranteed annual income. Because the idea of individual social and economic mobility has deep roots. Even activists seem to be reluctant to call for national programs to eliminate poverty by the outright redistribution of income. So this is a way for them to completely destabilize any kind of social, any kind of social construction where we have different classes of people, different strengths of people, different amounts of money made by people, that everything needs to be collapsed and crushed and everybody put on the same controlled dictator type. This is how you're going to live. This is what you're going to make. This is what you're worth. We're going to tell you what you're worth. Writing about the strategy in the 1990s and again in 2011 called it wrong-headed and self-defeating. Writing it apparently didn't occur to Cloward and Piven that the system would just regard rabble-rousing black people as a phenomenon to be ignored or quashed. They're using economic constraint. They're using what people are making. They're using our societal issues amongst color and division and everything else against each other. They are using the southern influence of different countries to flood the United States as much as possible, while they're also taking part in doing the same thing in these other states or in these other countries. It's like a big push. And where does that all lead back to? Where does all of this that we're seeing right now lead back to? World Economic Forum. World Economic Forum and agenda. Everybody's saying, no, it's this, no, it's this, no, it's this, no, it's this. That's not it. It's all together. People keep trying to say, oh, no, that's not that. It's this piece. No, it's not that. It's this piece. It's all the pieces together is what it is. And that's what people don't understand. It's not just individually Cloward versus Piven, or individually just Mexico or Colombia or Venezuela, or individually the sanctuary states. It's our people that run the world that are pushing this right now. It's a World Economic Forum thing. And that's exactly what it is. It's a complete agenda. We just got done with COVID. We got done with COVID. That messed us up for years. Now we're in the middle of this migration crisis with the illegals coming here. Our dollar is continuing to drop in value. People's work ethic is falling by the wayside more and more. They're starting to make it more and more acceptable for people to put information out there to our children and stuff that we don't want them to see. They're bringing more and more people into our schools that we don't want in our schools. They're making things acceptable that would have never been acceptable before. This has been literally going on for years and built up to the point where it's at right now. And these people that are just pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing and coming here is going to make it 10 times easier for it to take place. And now it's here. It's on our doorstep. It's right here where we're at right now. And people from other countries are concerned about it as well. People from other countries are like, when was it ever okay to bring, just for instance, LGBTQ and all this other stuff into our schools and teach our children? When was it okay for us to be forced into accepting certain things? Everybody was free to either believe in what you want or not believe in what you want, but never forcing, never politicizing, never getting into these movements and stuff to the point where you're making people believe what everybody else or what the small majority crowd believes just because they feel bad or their feelings are hurt. This has been building up for a long time. This is not new. And we're there now. Now we're to the point where it's actually starting to come together to continue to diminish the American dollar, to continue to flood our country with people from all over the place that absolutely have nothing. Who's Kevin? Kevin was just talking about your video in his channel. I don't know who Kevin is. My bus is full of no English. What to do, the teacher do with it? I don't know. And you know what? It's even more than that. Let's break something down even more that nobody thinks about is these every seat inside a school that's filled, they get a certain amount of money allotted to them for that position being filled. Why are they so eager to take children that don't even speak English, that they don't even have positions available for, that they don't even have the means to actually teach and fill up the schools as much as possible and make no regard for the other children in the neighborhoods that are not going to school, that are not getting looked after? But they're so eager to fill up those seats as fast as possible with children that don't even understand what's going on. They have to be retaught how to live life all over again.
Yeah, as soon as they come in, I'll let you go. No problem.
Illegal reference isn't effective. Conan, hey, buddy, I'm not asking you for permission to talk a certain way, and I'm not looking for any of you to teach me how you would like me to talk. The reason I say that is you're not the one putting your neck out on the lines doing this stuff. I am. So don't tell me how to speak. And then you have to look into the effect of taxation without representation. You know, people say, well, if your people that are controlling and running your towns and your cities and stuff like that are not representing you and you don't feel like they're listening to you, then how about you just stop paying your taxes, because that's taxation without representation. And then you need to file exempt on your taxes. Well, it's not quite that easy. From what I gather, it has to be where, like, if you filed exempt in 24 when you did your taxes, you would have had to have 22 paid up with no debt, and then 23 taking a loss in order to file exempt, and you still have to prove that. So you can come out with a loss anyway without filing exempt if you file your taxes to a point where you can prove that you did lose money. So exempt, you would still have to prove, I would think. I want to know more about this, so if some of you can help educate me, email me. My email is in the in my about me of this channel and stuff like that. You can email me and maybe explain some things on how to do that, because this old man was trying to teach it and he was like, everybody just needs to file exempt. He's some kind of like social economics guy and everything else, and he studies like science, and he was an old man that was talking about it on a video, and he was like, you literally, all of you could file exempt for specific reasons and blah 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 if you just knew how to do it correctly without me putting out too much information on this video. And he said, can you imagine that? If you guys stop paying property tax, or you stop paying this type of tax for even just a couple days, what that would end up doing? You know, it was a couple days or a couple years, or maybe it was a couple years, what that would end up doing to the structure of the people that are supposed to be representing you. They would be done. That's exactly what's funding them. Right. Stop paying taxes and see how fast you lose everything by coercion or force. I agree. There's a consequence to it if you don't know what you're doing. But anyway, you guys wanted to. Maybe I should come out to New York so I can see what's going on. But you guys wanted to know about the Cloward versus Piven strategy, and that's the Cloward versus Piven strategy, is by socially, politically, maybe more. It is a political strategy, but it's more like political slash social collapse in general, and it's a way for them to just tank everything. Just use immigration as a way to completely funnel and fill up the United States as much as possible to collapse the entire system. And it makes a lot of sense because that's exactly what's going on right now. And then some of the stuff that people are saying from other countries and how their countries are aiding in this happening all ties in with it. And it's just like, wow, it's all right in front of our face. It's been in front of our face since 1966. And now it's finally happening right in, we're seeing it like just like we're watching a movie. It's interesting once I started reading into it and I started looking more uh, into how it came about and things of that nature. So it's very interesting. But now you know, that's where we're at. Kevin used some of your video. His name, Kevin is the name of his channel. I'll check it out. I don't know how to find him. Just type in Kevin and see. Did he tag me? What can we do? We have to shut down the border. Just bottom line is we have to shut down the border. If we don't shut down the border, and I'm sorry, but the southern states they have to get aggressive, and we have to support them. And if they need more people and manpower and they can make it legal for us to go down there and help them, then we do it. If it was legal for me to go down there and join sides with them right now, I would go down there and do it. I would pack up, I would get all my gear and stuff, and I would head down there and do it. But it's not legal for us to go down there and join them. That's the problem, is we want to go do these things, we want to help, but they won't let us do it. You have to lock down the border. You have to hold Mexico accountable and let them know, stop letting them through. Send them back. If you can't lock down your border, then we can come do it for you. You don't want that smoke. That's going to be a bad problem. Negan, can you get a hold of me? Can you email me? It's in the about me section of this, as I would like to make some plans with you in the future. I would tank Mexico. I wouldn't get anything from Mexico. I would shut down the automotive stuff coming out of Mexico. I would shut everything down coming out of Mexico. If you guys don't want to, shut it all down. If you guys can't participate, then you're not getting anything from us. Shut it down. Yeah, there's enough. You're right. There's enough prior service people and people with experience to at least man a post or stand in a position to make sure that they can report to see what's going on. There's bodies for everything. And that's something that I wish we could go do. My county wouldn't let me put up a fence, but illegals get free stuff. It makes me so mad. Yeah, I mean it's normal. It's normal now. Our government it's normal. Mexico will be America and America will be Mexico. Yeah. You know, it's funny how these other countries and stuff are it's not funny. It's disgusting how these other countries are pushing out all their poor people and the people that don't contribute to their country like they want. They're pushing them all out to us. Oh yeah, go get taken care of by those guys. They can help you. They can take care of you. They got free stuff. New clothes, new shoes, new haircuts, fresh dues. All right, I'm gonna get off of here. I'm gonna take a little bit of a break, and I will be back with you.